so much that, like, I'm not going to have to say anything. Awesome. Well, hello and welcome to Tea Time Theology. I am Ivy.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Tom Hobin.
Today's episode is more about like concept and vibes than our normal ones, but we're talking about sports and faith and specifically soccer. Now, did you play soccer?
I did. I was a legend in my own mind.
Amazing.
I played in high school and then college and then continued to play and coach my daughters in Denver and just love the game. It's just a beautiful game.
Mm-hmm. What position did you play?
I was all over, mostly midfield where they run about 7 miles a game in a 90-minute game, 10K. And my senior year, they moved me to stopper to cover their best guy. And being short wasn't always advantageous. But it was fun. It's been a fun run.
I love sports. Spoiler alert. Yes, I think Taylor was very surprised when I wanted to do this one. But I love soccer, hockey, football, currently getting into rugby. It's a lot of fun if you would like to watch that.
Have you been to the Rhode Island rugby in Newport?
I've not been to the Rhode Island rugby, so I've been to Free Jacks, which is in Quincy, Massachusetts, and the Boston Banshees, which I think are the best name for a sports team ever. And they played in Rhode Island last year.
You've clearly not heard of the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
The what?
Yeah.
That is amazing. What sport is that?
It's baseball. It's like double-A ball.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I don't.
It's in there. They're out of. They're in Huntsville, Alabama.
Amazing.
And I only know that because I went there for work once. And I was like, oh, I got nothing to do tonight. I'll see if there's anything like to do. And they're like, oh, we have a baseball team. I'm like, oh, and they're like, oh, it's the Rocket City Trash Bandits. And I went, and I'm just like, I walked in the gift shop and I'm like, I'm buying everything.
What a great name.
See, sports teams, they bring everyone together. And Olympics, Winter Olympics, all over it. And I think that faith in sports and sports culture is so fascinating. I just want to know, in general, what your sort of viewpoint is on faith in sports. And it can be like a variety of, it can be like the player's faith, the spectator's faith, however you would like to answer that question.
Well, first of all, I just need to back up a little bit on the baseball because my dad wanted to call me Ted Williams because he loved the Red Sox so much. He was a Marine. My dad was a Marine. So my mom vetoed that, and I'm Thomas William Hobin. So I'm thankful that she didn't say it's okay, Ted Williams, because I couldn't hit a baseball. And he was big on hockey. He was one of the best refs in the state and may get into the Hall of Fame posthumously. He played at Providence College, and then he was a referee. So I tried to play hockey to please him, but I was so small. A guy like you would hit me in the boards. I wouldn't get up. I tried goalie once. I ducked. The puck went in. I said, I'm not doing this. But we used to play soccer to keep in shape for hockey. And I could find out that I could run faster than the big guys in soccer. So that was my leeway into that. Probably a little bit of faith. Like, God help me. I don't have all these talents and gifts. Help show me one, and I was pretty fast. So that helped. I think you see it in all aspects of sports, of prayers and quiet and the passion and the excitement. My oldest daughter's 38. She lives in Geneva, Switzerland now, and they're big fans of Arsenal. So they went to a couple of games in London. Yeah. And if you haven't been to any other country that has games, it's just cuckoo crazy. So I think you see it with Big Poppy slapping his hands, pointing to heaven for his dad in heaven. You see people praying, doing the crossing. Confession, Red Sox fan forever. My dad passed before they won the big one. So I'm listening in Denver. I got a candle lit. It's 2003, and fly ball, Bucky Dent, pop fly, left field home run, and I just because I was praying, and then answered prayers the next year. Like God has time for me to worry about the baseball, but you know what I'm saying. But
I think a lot of people think God is very invested in the sports teams.
He really is.
He's like
he's on our side.
Always, Bob Dylan sang about that.
Yes, very invested in all of them.
Have you seen Ken Burns baseball?
I have not.
I always tell this to people when the baseball comes up because I don't sports. Ivy knows this.
Yeah, he went to Hampshire College where my daughter went.
Yeah, so Ken Burns baseball. It's about the history of baseball. Yeah. Just like Ken Burns Civil War. Have you seen that? It's the history of baseball. Same kind of deal. No. It is. If as a Red Sox fan, it is the most depressing episode, and it's a Ken Burns documentary. It's like every episode's like 3 hours long, and it's like, oh, and by the way, the Red Sox, guess what? Didn't make it again. It was so bad to the point they did 9 episodes, and they called them innings. But then the Red Sox won when it came out. The Red Sox won the World Series, and Ken Burns added a 10th inning to the series.
Yes,
You have to.
You have to do the overtime.
Oh, with the sock.
It's so painful. Every year we'll get him next year.
Yeah.
Get him next year.
Yeah.
And then in what was it, Fever Pitch? They did the same thing. They filmed it as the long-suffering Red Sox, and then that same year they won, so they had to change the ending.
This has nothing to do with any of the
That's
questions
okay.
I had prepped, but
It's your show. You can do whatever you want.
I am always fascinated by when movies use a real team and then like the team does either worse or better. Like, I don't know if you know, but the NFL and Hallmark have now teamed up to do holiday movies.
Really?
And and the two of them were the Chiefs. The Chiefs had a movie and then had a losing season.
Oh, man.
The Bills had a movie this year, and we all saw what happened to them. And so now it's
Nobody
like
wants
no
to.
one wants to be picked as the next Hallmark movie because then you don't get to win the Super Bowl.
It's like you cover on Sports Illustrated, then you don't
Yeah.
do well the next year.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
or
so the Madden,
yes.
the Madden curse.
That's right.
Oh yes, all those things. But no, I love all of that stuff.
I think faith is integral. I think also team sports teach you about life and love and loss, and you do so much for your teammates, and you know your strengths and weaknesses. But it's really to get not one person who stands out. You know, oftentimes it takes 11 in soccer and same many players. I guess wrestling, boxing, which is one-on-one, but you're probably praying a lot anyway.
There's a lot of.
They say the toughest sport, I think, is motocross, and second toughest is soccer. But
Wow. Why motocross?
broken collarbones. I'm a physical therapist.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Broken collarbones. That sounds painful already.
I've done it twice.
Oh God.
Once on a Pele scissor kick, thinking I scored. But may I talk about Pele?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right. Do you know his real name? From Brazil.
No, I don't.
Good trivia for you sports fans out there. Edson Arantes de Nascimentos. Grew up very poor, had rags. Johnny Carson had him on the show. He's juggling a grapefruit on the show. Came back to this country, and I want to say 1976 after a stellar career. But his biography is wonderful. When he was 10, he saw his dad's crying. He said, "Dad, why are you crying?" He said, "We just lost the World Cup." He said, "I'm going to win you one." And he won one at 16. And I think Brazil won like 4 World Cups, maybe more. But he was phenomenal. And then in his retirement from it was Santos, his club, and then Brazilian national team, he helped get soccer going in this country, in the New York Cosmos. And his last game at the Cosmos, he played half for his Brazilian team and half for the Cosmos. And 77,000 people. It's like, repeat after me. Love, love, love. That's, just a humble, sweet guy. I got to meet him in Mother's Day 1977. I coached from Quinnipiac, had some connections with the Connecticut Bicentennials, and they had a nice game there. And he gave me his autograph, and he just was so gracious. And these were all older players that were trying to get it going. Franz Beckenbauer from Germany, Giorgio Canaglia from Italy. And that guy at 36 could run, and his one thigh was bigger than both of my thighs. That kid had some legs and lungs. And then after the game, I watched him give a shirt to a little kid, like a 10-year-old after the game. So very, very generous. But he resurrected it, but then it died again. Like we thought it would come. That was a National Soccer League, but it fell apart a little bit. Now I think it's caught on. Most of these teams have their own stadiums, and and women's soccer rocks. Men in the World Cup, not so much. Women, they own it.
They do. And we're going to get a Boston team this year. The Boston Legacy. Taylor's like, I have no idea what's happening.
Well, no, because I'm thinking about market saturation because we have the Revs.
Yeah, but the Boston Legacy is a women's team.
Women's soccer team.
Sorry,
okay.
I should have. Yes, so we are getting a women's soccer team.
Hold on, you telling me ladies are allowed to play sports now?
I'm so sorry to be
What
the
was
one
it?
to tell you that. You should really listen to.
Title 14
Like-
before he was born. I forget.
Yes, a lot of it. And there's a lot of podcasts. Everyone should follow Hoops for Hotties. She's the best sports podcaster.
No, because it's Rhode Island has the what's the
Rhode Island FC.
Yeah.
And then there's the Revs. But the thing is, I don't know if you actually want me to go into this, but they're
Yeah,
different
no, go for it,
leagues.
yeah.
So like the Rhode Island FC is a championship league, though they just changed. So you, as Taylor said, you can tell us we're wrong. And then the Revs are a different league, and then the Boston Legacy, which will be the women's team, is a different league. It's the same way that like the Providence Bruins is a different league than like the Boston Bruins.
Okay.
We'll put a plug in for RIFC. They've been very generous, and it's very nice, and it's resurrecting that city. I really think, I know the deal wasn't so great financially for our state, but I think the what is that wind in here?
Yes.
The deal may not have been so advantageous, but I think that the energy. Have you been to the stadium yet? It's worth going. And they play rugby there. They've had some rugby championships and
They
a
have
Brown
the
Uri
rugby
hockey
championships.
football game.
And it's really exciting. This year they have professional lacrosse will be playing there, and URI is rebuilding their stadium, so all of their football games will be played there in the fall.
Way
Yeah,
cool.
it's really great.
Yes.
And that riverfront is pretty cool.
It's
It's
gorgeous.
very family friendly, very safe. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And this is absolutely nothing to do with anything, but what I really love about their stadium is they have 3 seats from McCoy Stadium in it with like a plaque
I didn't
being
know.
like
that's nice.
Yeah.
Pawtucket has always been a sports town, and we're like honored to continue the legacy.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's a very thoughtfully built stadium. But I appreciate that. Yes.
Something just came up recently about Pawtucket Red Sox. They had the longest baseball game in history.
32 innings.
That's right.
And they had to call someone. That's what makes that game so funny.
Yeah.
Is that like they had
like
to
4 in the
call
morning.
the league and be like, "Hey, can we like stop?" And they were like,
Like three fans in the stands, and Wade Boggs played, and
I'm not gonna know names.
the Paw Sox. They did really well. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of. Yeah, and I will agree with you, Taylor, that there does sort of feel like some market saturation in New England with a lot of teams. I feel like I didn't understand why people liked college sports so much until I realized like certain states like they only have
Right.
Oh
college
it's
teams.
it's the local college team is
like
Right.
your team.
is the team. Like you said, we are spoiled for choice here.
Yes.
That is so true.
It-
Saturated Northeast too, with hockey and basketball and
Oh,
football. It's amazing.
absolutely.
Have you ever seen college hockey?
So my cousin is a goalie coach for a hockey team. So I have gone to his games when they play against Brown. He works
Nice.
for a college up in upstate New York,
Nice.
which is why I really appreciated you saying that you did soccer to train for hockey, because I have described hockey as soccer on ice, and he did not enjoy that description of
but
the sport.
I think lacrosse is kind of a mix.
Yeah.
You run and you hit in the men's league. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just want to put a plug in for hockey. Quinnipiac, when I was there, we were Division III. We lost, let me think, 33-3 or something. 30-3. It was an NCAA Division III record.
30-3.
Yeah.
In
They
a
had-
hockey game?
They had 90 shots on our goalie, Larry Arlen. We joked and said he was red light our Larry. But guess what? They just worked hard, and they got up, and they got there, and now 3 years ago won national championship, Division
That's
One.
so exciting.
So the coach really did a great job, and
Yes.
hockey's fun, but it's tough. They're so big and strong and quick. And women too. They're playing now in the Olympics.
Yeah, no, the women's and the PWHL is like
That's
amazing.
right. Another Boston team.
They also have a Boston team, Taylor.
Did you guys
That-
get free tickets or anything?
No, no, we really should. I'm plugging like all these teams.
We don't get free anything.
No, the Boston Sirens.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. I like the sirens.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because in a different sport, it's like the something else Sirens. I think it's the New York Sirens for like rugby, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Very cool.
Yes. So thinking about, I want to sort of talk about coaches, because I think a lot of ways coaches and priests can be held in the same sort of light and stature, especially to young people. And just sort of wondering what you think, because you're newer ordained, what the responsibility of that means. And if you think in your own practice as a deacon, are you informed by your practice as a coach?
Across the board, in times of changing, I would say safe church for everyone and safe coaching for everyone. Had negative consequences hugely. But I think it's very, very important to have good boundaries. And it's very important for kids, girls and boys, to look to somebody as a mentor that believes in them. I think we all need sometimes an attaboy, attagirl, way to go, work hard. Encouragement, positive reinforcement, not the yelling and the negativity. So I think that's huge. So I think there really needs to be more training. It's like parenting. Joke was I had a kid, I had Hannah first, and then Elsa, and then Eiley. But when Hannah was born, I took a parenting class. That's like driving and then going to driver's ed. So fortunately, it turned out all right, despite me. But they, I think you need a lot of training, and they do have that for even at a youth level. They have levels of licenses starting with F all the way up to A. And most college coaches are A licensed, and so it takes a lot of training. And then it's a fragile time. It's a vulnerable time. I mean, I went to college at 17. I was young, and you don't know what you know. You really don't know much, and you don't want to be taken advantage of. But then you also look to say, okay, the seniors, are they going to help me, show me the way? They're going to just put me down because I'm a freshman, and I had pretty positive experience all my life. One thing I'll say about a European coach came to Denver, and he was teaching us coaches there in a small rec league how to coach. And he says, I feel that Americans beat the sport out of the kids. They just drill it into them. They're on the competitive team at age 4, and they're traveling, and they're just, whether it's hockey, it's one sport. So it's really nice to do many sports if you can. But he said, like many things in life, like being a deacon, now that I've got my little certificate from the bishop, I'm learning how to be a deacon. How? By my parishioners, my congregation. They're forming me now. And I would say the same with coaching. You get formed as a coach. You make mistakes, and you learn, and you look to some people for help. But he said, let them play. The game is the greatest teacher. Just let them play. So often we get 11 on 11, and they get a ball. You need a lot of touches. So if we were practicing right now, do one-on-one, I'd do one-on-one, or I'd be on your offense and would go 2-on-1. So we get they said 500 touches of practice. But when we scrimmage, we don't get as many touches. So even in hockey, you should maybe make a half of the rink one team, and the other team, have 4 teams, and things like that, just like a lot of touches for skill. Because ball control is the key in really any sport.
And this idea of practice, and I think it's interesting because I have heard your prayer life being talked as a practice as well. So sort of the same sort of thing. The more you do something, the better you get at it.
Well, I think the prayer is really 2 things we do: supplication and really listening. And I think for me, getting older, just slowing down and trying to listen to saying what's God's will for me today. I work with Father Sean, putting a plug in early, I'm sorry, and Coventry, St. Francis. But he said, Tom, do you meditate? I said, yeah, every day. I set a timer. I take some quiet time. Sometimes I just think, or I'll have a word, love coming in, forgiveness going out, or just some basic, really breathing, deep breathing. And he said, well, many of our parishioners, this is their meditation. This is their 1 hour that they give to God. And so his point was me to talk slower and clearer and let it be a meditative time. And that was a very good lesson learned in terms of just the community come together. So, and lastly, I'll say about listening. I do physical therapy, and a brilliant doctor in England really changed the scope of our profession, because we used to just do bake and fake heat massage to feel good. But now we really know exactly tendon, ligament, bursa, disc. He said, listen to your patient. They tell you what's wrong. If you listen long enough, they tell you how to treat them. And I think that's helpful in any relationship, in the community, partnership, boss, workers, co-workers. So listening. And I'm Irish, so I got a little gift for the gab. Sorry about that.
No, this is actually the perfect place to be for that.
Absolutely.
No, Taylor loves when people are chatty.
Oh yeah, well, it's the best part of a podcast. I mean, the best guest of a podcast is the guest that doesn't stop talking, and you don't have to say anything.
It's very true.
I like it.
Yes.
And now I'm going to go back and listen to all of them. I've only done a few so far, but I really love how did you come up with tea time theology? I'm going to switch to questions here.
Well,
so cool.
Ivy and I sat at a cafe, I think, Sin Desserts.
Yeah, it was Sin.
And we just started,
is kind of retroactively very funny.
It is. And we just I don't know, we just started talking about, titles, and I forget like something about like Episcopalian tea, Episcopalian British. What's very British? Tea. Tea is very British. What's very British? What's another tea thing that's very British? Tea time. British people do tea time, and then we're like tea time's great. Coffee hour. Yeah, and then tea time theology was born.
Awesome.
I also like alliterations.
Yeah,
That was really good too. Yeah, we did.
It's nice.
Even teamwork.
And easy. And then we release on Tuesdays, so it's like
Tea Time
a
Theology
whole
Tuesdays.
thing.
Perfect.
Tea Time
First
Theology.
Tuesday after Lent.
Yes.
10 episodes every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
No, it's a lot of fun. And I think we finally found our lane. It took us 8 seasons, but I feel like we're here now.
We've kissed it a couple of times.
Yes.
We're like, and then we're like, let's do something fun and dumb, and then we'll do something serious, and then we'll do something fun. We're like, you know what?
Yeah, just
The serious stuff is way too hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think the way, at least for me, I won't speak for Taylor, but like the best ways to experience God and faith is through the world we are in. Having those sorts of moments and showing how your TV watching time can also be faithful and reflecting, and your Sunday sports day can be just as, I mean, it's the same thing. You gather people in community to watch something. I mean, like that might be a wide brushstroke.
I think bringing families together are fun too. And then on the flip side, I was like, can you play? And I used to have picnics in Denver, and now I still have them in Wickford at the town beach, third Sunday of every month in the summer, just a potluck. And it started out really small, and I've had the low of 3 and the high of 50. So it's a nice way to play. And then in Denver, I had like volleyball, kickball, just some sports. But just, I realized adults don't play enough. Like, can we be like kids again? I have a 5-year-old grandson and a 1.5-year-old granddaughter. And they're like, he thinks I'm 5. So I'm telling him, I'm not. I don't really tell him, what do you want to do now, Cody, And they just run and run. And I think if we can do that sometimes as adults, it brings that out, whether it's wiffle ball, kickball, just making up games. Yeah.
What do you think is the importance of play in faith and church?
Wow, that's a great one. I think everything in here, I sit looking for projects to do for ministry in the church, and I've done some chaplain fire department maybe, and looking at different ways to discern, but you actually just plugged a really nice idea to do some play. I think we could do some art, some theater. We should have a day of just maybe writing poetry. But I think also getting outside, like even when it's cold, I sometimes would just get up and just get out and just hear that snow and just that crisp air and bundle up. But I think nature is healing, so I think we could do that more as a community. My favorite thing, and on my phone here, my favorite thing in your state, and Bishop nicely says it's the most successful, is ECC.
Yeah.
I love that place. I go down to the lake and just hang out, and what generous gift from the doctor and his wife, that land. Have you folks been to Barbara C. Harris camp yet?
No.
That's a
No,
must.
I've heard that it is gorgeous, though. That's the, Connecticut version, right?
Yeah, just northern Massachusetts into New
Northern.
Hampshire, southern New Hampshire. It's right near Crotchet Mountain, 2 miles.
That's too far, kid.
I have. It's north of the Berkshires and over to the right over there.
Yeah.
You're too far, kid. I moved to Denver, and they said, Twommy, you talk funny since you moved to Denver. I was like, Uncle Hank, I'm starting to talk normal.
That's true.
It's really,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
No. So bringing us a little more back to soccer specifically, it is the most widely played sport in the world, and the FIFA World Cup is the #1 sports event in viewership, worldwide. There are a few things that connect the world as universal things, and I think religion can be used in that way, and I think clearly soccer or football is being used in that way. And I'm just sort of wondering what you sort of think of these two as connectors.
The World Cup and faith
Yeah.
in the world, I think that they can be intertwined. I think people, if you have a discipline and you really work hard, there's a lot of reward. And I think parallel programs, if you want to be a great soccer player, you have to practice a lot. And if you want to have good faith, you have to pray a lot and listen a lot. And do some rituals. I think we get away from that. I was at a funeral today in a Catholic church, and it just was very moving because they're like cousins to us. It's just so much similar. And the priest I grew up with, Father Ricard, doesn't use notes. He just talks. And he said this gentleman's life was his homily. Like, it's just so tender. But I think when you really get involved in things, I think you can have that passion. And I think when you have that audience, don't abuse it. Don't let your ego get in the way. Any good players will say it's up to the coach helped me or the team helped me. It's not just I won this World Cup, because I scored the winning goal. No, you didn't get there by just you. And I think the same in faith. I find in the Episcopal tradition in the church, it's a little more equanimity and not so hierarchical. And just a little more, obviously the umbrella is bigger. It's very inclusive, men and women, gay and straight, single and married, divorced. And for me, that was always an attraction because I wanted to be a Catholic priest when I was young, but loved women too much, and I didn't. It was very conflictual. very hard. You have a story to share?
No, that was just such a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And then, but here's the other funny thing that I just had to get my yayas out, and I think we all have to get our yayas out, whether it's skiing or skating or soccer, because there's that expression, dance and singing. Even Springsteen's recent song with Minneapolis is profound. Just like, boom, let's speak out and have that passion. So
a lot of great protest songs coming out right now.
And I just want to go back to the World Cup for a second. I was in Nepal and Thailand and volunteering and working overseas a little bit, but I just remember these little huts, basically, thatch roofs in 1982 in Nepal with the antenna up or the satellite dish, wow, this is cool. What's the score? But people have such passion for it. And in the old days, it was great to listen to that. I just want to tell one more story. So I was able to go through Quinnipiac and volunteer in the Cambodian refugee camp with beautiful people, broken. They lost everything, their homes, their legs, their country, and they still smiled. I was so moved by God kind of working through them to say, here I am, come see me in my beauty and brokenness. And many of these people came here legally, and they're retired now, my age. But soccer was a big bond for them. They had the Cambodian national team in this camp of 110,000. So Saturday, they played us. And they were very kind. They didn't embarrass us too much. But we had doctors from France and Germany who could play, and I was at a pretty good level then. We lost in soccer, but it was nice. They didn't, and we won in basketball because they're all very short like me. And we had a few tall players. But it was like a highlight for the camp. And the Irish group called Concern, their job was to take care of the entertainment in the refugee camp. And that was really amazing how they came in. Here it is, struggling. 2/3 of our patients were war victims, gunshot wounds, landmines. And they came in and just played and tried to. And so I think that essence of play was key. And on the way home, we traveled through the Middle East and Palestine, Israel, Egypt, and then Europe. And I had a little ball in my backpack. And anywhere I went, I took out the ball. And I couldn't speak Arabic, but I could juggle with some students in Cairo. I think that's a bridge builder, just games like that.
Really is.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's like the great sort of equalizer. Everyone knows to catch a ball if it's thrown at you.
or duck.
Or duck.
Yeah. There's
a hockey puck.
It really is. Games are so important in society, I think. And what's great about, like you said, what's great about games is that the rules don't change across cultures. The rules of soccer don't change across cultures. It's the same game no matter where you are in the world. And two teams can get together. They don't have to speak the same language. But once you start moving, everyone knows what to do in the game.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I liked about. I play a lot of in my younger days. I played a lot of board games and tabletop games. And one of the games I played was Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And Magic the Gathering is printed in like dozens of languages all around the world. And that means that whenever I am traveling, if I want to go play a game of Magic, I could find a local store that sold those cards and sit down across from somebody, and it doesn't matter that their cards aren't in English because I still know what their cards are doing and what they do because I read them in English, and it's the same picture on the card. It's the same picture on the card.
That's cool.
That's one of the things I liked about when I was traveling for work. I don't sports, but I do. Yeah. I do play games, and I would go to local game stores and sit down, find out they're playing a game that I know how to play. Sit down, and play that game and meet those people and talk with them and learn about who they are.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, there was one time I was in, there's actually Huntsville, Alabama.
I want one of those shirts.
We should all go.
I went to a game store and they were having Dungeons and Dragons night, and I sat down across from somebody and they were recording a podcast of their game, and I was apparently suddenly a guest star on their podcast. Okay. I don't even know if this episode has ever been released.
Google that later, would you?
Yeah. I think person running the game was a deacon or some type of, not a priest at a church. He was at one of those one of those southern churches that have everyone's. It feels like it's more vibes than.
Yeah.
Like whatever they're doing, I don't know. But he was like, "Oh yeah, I don't say my real name because I don't want." What is it? They called it Dungeons and Dragons. It was called the Satanic Panic in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, it's still very real in the South.
Wow.
People are still worried about Dungeons and Dragons being a pathway to the devil or whatever. And you connect that to same thing as going to church. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, if you can find an Episcopal church or more commonly a Roman Catholic church, it doesn't matter what language they're speaking.
That's right.
You still know where they are in the Mass,
Yeah.
what to do, when to do it, and how to behave in that situation, because we all know the rules of the game.
Right.
Yes.
I like that.
Book of Common Prayer, rules of the game.
There it is.
No, I do love the Episcopal Church service. I feel like it's like a warm blanket.
Mm-hmm.
You can go anywhere and be like, oh, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
I got this.
I can tell. Just feel it.
Yeah.
Just feel it.
Okay, I'm good here.
Yeah, and I like the prayer that for what we've done and for what we have left undone. Never heard it that way. Just okay, what more can we do?
There's a lot of good prayers.
Oh yeah.
Prayer book. Solid work, guys. 79? 79?
Yeah.
Yeah, 79.
79, man. That was a banner year. I got a hymnal and a prayer book.
Father Dante says he loves the Bible because it quotes the prayer book so well.
That's a great
That's
twist.
a good thing. That's a great way to do it. One of my aunts describes General Convention as we vote on the absolute truth every 3 years. And I think that's a really funny way to think about it. And Taylor is actually going to go this time.
Guys, no one was more surprised than I was.
Come on, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was.
Congratulations.
I was. Ivy's sister Olive asked me if I would be on the board of Province 1, which I already am. And then they said, hey, can you help run the election at their local convention? And I said, yeah, sure, I can do that too. And then they said, hey, if you're doing Province 1, would you like to be on the ballot for General Convention? I said, yeah, sure, I guess. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to win. No one knows who I am.
That is so cool.
And then all of a sudden, the votes came in, and I was like, wow, look at that. I won by landslide.
That's so cool.
Yes, yeah. Taylor's very likable.
And that'll be a couple years from now, a year and a half.
Next.
2027.
2027. Exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Phoenix in August, guys.
Yeah, 120 in the shade.
It's
it's a dry heat, though. Yeah.
I hate when people say it's a dry heat.
It doesn't count.
No. It's
doesn't
still
matter.
hot, people.
Nobody's out. You look around, there's nobody out.
No, it is still hot.
But it's really cool down there, though. I mean, really, not cool temperature-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Tucson.
Speaking of just being too hot to work, I was in Palm Springs, California. And that is desert. It's in the desert. Yeah. And they have the city, which is green because they pump water in and it's nice and it's good shade. But I was working at a power plant outside the city. And I could only work outside because when you're in the desert, they don't really put anything under cover. Around here, if you go to a power plant, it's there's inside parts.
Yeah.
To protect the equipment from the elements. When they're in the desert, it's just open. And I could only work until probably, I would say, 1 or 2, maybe. And then it would get too oppressively hot, and I would have to go in, and I couldn't be outside anymore. I would get, I would be outside for, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I would start to get, really hot and really, heat strokey.
And, the tech you were working with was fine in the heat? It didn't need any cooling system?
Well, it's steam pipes. So it's hot.
Oh, that's
steam.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot steam. Yeah, hot is good. The hotter the better.
Yeah, that's just gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like we're seeing a real, not a resurgence, but I do think an uptick in sort of sports culture, not in certain football in America is football, but more people are getting engaged with like soccer and other sports. And I wonder if, and this might be like causation is not correlation. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Great. But I wonder if you think it has anything to do with the sort of like decline in church attendance that we're seeing in a lot of ways. Because I think as humans, we're sort of hardwired to have faith in something. So just wondering, do you think those are correlated to each other? Do you think it just is happening that way?
Good question. I think there's a lot of factors. I think there's a yearning for community and fellowship, fun, travel. Some of the teams travel. And obviously going to convention will be fun. I went to the AED convention for deacons, and I won't miss another one. It was so well done. 200 people, and 100 was the first time that they went in Austin. But I would say I think everybody wants to belong. So, right, the previous presiding bishop said beloved community, right? And we all want a sense of belonging. And parallel to that, I think, I grew up here in Rhode Island, in Greenwood, and everything was closed on Sunday except Sunnybrook Farms or like a little store you can get milk and bread. And now that they're all open 24/7, I mean, it's nothing much closed. And so then into sports. So the family's traveling to New York for a tournament or on a Sunday, or the games are on Sunday because they can't get the field Saturday. So there's been this, a broadening when we really didn't shut down things. And I'm trying to be archaic, but there's something about the Sabbath being for man, not man for the Sabbath, and we lose some of that. You get it briefly. Remember Thanksgiving, nothing happened, and Christmas, nothing happened. But now you can get a cheaper flight on Thanksgiving, so you might as well, and these poor people have to work. But So I don't know. I think I didn't answer the question totally. I think there is a decline in church. People say they're spiritual, not religious, but I think there's something rich about it if you really sit still. And it becomes your own. Many of us are baptized, and we're newly born type thing, and didn't really choose it. But I think there's an evolving, there's a new movement coming. I think that's yearning for it, and I think you younger folks are showing us the way. I mean, that's what Bob Dylan said: "Get out of the way if you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command." Times they are changing, and so what are we doing with that? How do we listen to that? Like most of the churches I'm in, they're white-haired like me. There are some youth, and I'm so moved by that. Where there's 50 people. So this little 1-year-old looks at me as reading the gospel, and I was like, okay, there's God. Oh, my God, gorgeous, So how do we include and keep them? And I think there's a lot of good ways. I think like I said, the camp, that's one of the things that has been a very big success, which I would like to get more involved with, maybe go on a retreat or be a chaplain on a weekend, or play soccer with the kids, or do something fun up there too.
Yeah, it's I think in the Northeast especially, just because I've traveled a bunch for work, there's definitely a different speed when you leave this area. When once you get into Virginia, and then you go out from there, like out to the west, and there is a different speed at which everyone lives. And especially everyone works. And I think that's something that we're lacking here.
Totally.
And I don't know what it is. We all need to learn how to slow down. You don't always have to be productive. Stop, think, listen. Last summer, my wife and I got pretty deep into home renovations. And I was feeling very anxious and overwhelmed by the entire process. And I knew I needed something, and I couldn't find it at home because home was where the anxiety was. And when I was there, I was anxious because there was no quiet place to quiet my mind. So there's a park up in North Providence. I forget what it's called, but they have a nice little beachfront, and it's like a little lake. And we went there, and I said, I told my wife, I need to go here. I need to go here. You need to come with me. And we went, and in my regular shorts, I wasn't even wearing swim trunks. I walked out into the water, and I just stood there with my shoes off in the water. I felt myself de-stress in that moment because I was standing, I was in water, I was looking out at nature. There was no stimulus that was pulling my attention in one direction. I was just somewhere for the first time in a while. And that's something that I think sports, here we go, we're going to bring it back.
So we can say.
I think that's one of the things that sports helps people do. It helps people stop. It's something where you have to sit and you have to watch and you have to meditate on it and keep up with it, or else you don't know what's going on from not just from like minute to minute or play to play, like even to the point where like, well, who's this person? Yeah. What are they doing? Why are they special? How is this team doing? And how is this player on this team affecting the outcome? And I think that's what a lot of people like about sports.
So I did not grow up a sport child at all. And I really got into sports, I would say, like 2021, because my mom, some people have met, told me that having a second job was not a hobby and that I needed to find a hobby in the way only a mother can say that.
I love it.
And I still have the second job. But I do think that she was very right in the fact that like I needed something just for myself, that I was losing myself in my job, which I do think is a very American thing of like we define ourselves by what job we have. So I actually started by watching Arsenal and going to the Revs games. And now, of course, we have spiraled and I have season tickets at RIFC and Providence Bruins and have lost my mind to the sports gods. But it is something that I really love and enjoy. And I love it because I get to take people to them. Yeah. I go with my dad, soccer games. So cool. I go with my sister and her husband to the hockey games. It's a way we can connect with our cousin who like lives in another state. We're always texting him questions. I thought the first time we went to a hockey game and a fight happened that we were being punked. No, it actually happens. I think
the
that
energy.
Yeah, no, there is something very different about being
alive
in an arena with other people. And like I have this picture from we went to a Bruins game, a P Bruins game. And it was during the same time that one of the Bills playoffs game was happening. So I have this picture because the girl in front of us had the NFL game on her phone. So she was holding it up. And they weren't playing the Patriots. So it wasn't that one. It was like the one before that they won.
But their outcome.
I don't know. I think it was the Broncos that they did end up losing. But what was so funny is she's holding up her phone and there are 3 rows of people watching this other game while also watching the hockey game, like right before the first intermission. And I literally took a picture of it and I texted it to my friend. I was like, this is community.
Oh yeah.
So
but like it's so I love having those sort of like spaces and things. I don't think I had a point besides that fun story. But
it's a beautiful story. You know, it really is. And I grew up with baseball. When I ever was with my dad, he grew up here in Edgewood near Trinity, with Mother Susan's area, and he had the game on. And so when you're with my dad and his relatives, it's the first question is, what's the score? Everybody's got the transition, whether you're in the car or the garage, what's the score? And 162 games a year or so, you know. But I like that energy. I mean, that's really cool. I was like that with the Red Sox because I was in Colorado, and the Rapids are their professional team. They're still there doing well. They have their own stadium, but they played at Mile High Stadium, which sat 77,000 people, and only about 5,000 came. Except at firework night, they all came for the fireworks near the end of the game, so it was kind of depressing for the players. But then they all came to see this wonderful celebration. But I remember just saying, I think it was the Yankees, and we did the 4, and we were all depressed because we lost. We were down 3-0, and I said, we just need to win 1 at a time. We don't need to win 4. We need 1 at a time. But it was so the same energy of what's the score? How are we doing out there? Because you can kind of watch a couple of different games. Although in our culture, it's sensory overload. I think at the bars, you got, or if somebody's working out, they got the headphones on, listening to music, and then the TV's up there in their spandex.
Oh yeah.
So in that book, Care of the Soul by Thomas More, not St. Thomas More, but there's a Care of the Soul. He said, what's exercise in the 14th century? And they said, walking in a fragrant smelling garden. What's exercise now? That image of spandex and sweat and just sensory overload. So I think that's cool. I have a slogan for you. Motion is lotion by the ocean. Wow. We have to keep moving. We have to keep moving. And admire people that do, and do our own motion. Like I do a little bit of Tai Chi, and that's been really good. It's kind of martial arts slow motion.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of like last thoughts about like sports and faith? I know we've bounced around a lot.
Yeah.
And I think what has also been interesting to me is seeing a lot of TV shows about sports really sort of take off in a lot of ways. You have Ted Lasso for soccer, Heated Rivalry. There's another Off Campus, which is another like hockey show that's coming out later in the spring.
Teen Wolf.
Is that about sports?
The movie was.
I mean, I guess I put Teen Wolf more as like supernatural.
I was confused when I was a young person, and we're gonna take a tangent because I want to. I was Teen Wolf was a very popular TV show on the CW. I feel like this feels like a very CW show.
I will look up because
Doesn't matter. And my cousin, who was a little bit younger than I am, she was like, "Oh my God, I was watching Teen Wolf the other day," and I thought like, "Oh, Teen Wolf, like, oh, the movie." She's like, "Oh no, the TV show." I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
how do you make a TV show about a kid who like turns into a werewolf and plays basketball?" Like that's the plot.
No.
And then she's like, "What?" And then she looked at me like I was the weirdo.
It's true. No, it was an MTV show.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't even know MTV did like a scripted thing at any point.
Well, they definitely don't do music.
No, they don't. But then we have Dylan O'Brien from Teen Wolf. What a time to be alive. What a time to be young.
Yeah.
The TV show is kind of fun. Like it should have been. It is a CW level quality, not in a bad way. Love a CW show.
Oh yeah, CW was like great for a long time.
Yeah, they really hit the teen market in a way most others. And there really isn't a good teen market anymore. And like the ABC Family shows. Like,
Or is there a good teen market and we just don't know about it because we're olds?
no, because I think it's Netflix and those shows are not for teens.
No.
Like 13 Reasons Why. That was sad.
But isn't like Wednesday a teen show?
Have you ever watched Wednesday?
No, I haven't.
I mean, I guess you could call it a teen. I personally wouldn't. I mean, like teens can watch it. Yeah, it's not as bad as when like teens were watching like Euphoria or anything. But
I don't even know what that is.
it's okay. That's why I'm here. I bring the other side of pop culture. No.
Is there a spaceship in it?
No. There's
Then
a
I'm not-
lot of
then I'm not
teenage
interested.
girl trauma. It is teenage trauma.
Okay.
Is what that show is.
I'm glad I missed that one.
It's okay. But Zendaya won an award for it, and that's really all that matters.
Okay. I know who that is.
I'm proud of you. But yeah, no, thinking about like TV and sports and culture and all that kind of stuff, it's really interesting to see that intersectionality with faith.
This has been cool. I mean,
Great.
It makes me want to hear more of your podcast and learn about your personalities more.
All right. Well, listen, because we're...
Yeah.
It's happening.
10 in Lent, huh? From Lent, you just go to do 10.
We do 10.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We
impressive.
stopped doing two a year.
We did that first. We did that the first year, and then we were like, "This is too much.
We all were like, nope.
Yeah.
We don't have the bandwidth for this." I know that the podcast is going well, and this is how I know.
Why?
So I'm not hitting the microphone as much.
Because Tom is here, guys. Tom is
Tom's here.
like this is the get of our lifetime.
You got to get out of these black curtains a little bit more often.
No, I was actually at church. I was at church, St. Luke's, East Greenwich, and somebody came in, and they said, completely unscripted by me, I'm here taking a class at the War College, and I was looking for a church, and I found this podcast and Tea Time Theology, and I heard this priest from St. Luke's, and I decided to come here today because of that. And I said, "Well, let me tell you, sir."
And they,
It's me. I'm the guy. Oh my God.
Did they get your autograph?
No, and then of course I said, you have no idea how much I'm paying this man to be here today. To everyone at the coffee hour.
No, my dad found his new church because of the podcast. He now goes to Drake's church because he was like, oh, he sounds cool. Let me try it out.
Drake is very cool.
He is.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Anyway.
That's
Yes.
really cool.
So Tom, if someone wanted to come meet you
On a Sunday.
on a Sunday, where should they go?
I am the deacon, 4 months in at St. Francis in Coventry, Rhode Island. I work with Reverend Sean Manchester, and we have a community of about 50, and would welcome anybody to come and visit and see if it fits for them. Beautiful place, good people, and only 6 or 7 miles from my home.
Oh, nice.
Just nice.
Short commutes are great.
That's not too far.
That's
Right,
not too far.
but we had a lot of snow, as you have as well, way up here. So, great group. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us tonight.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
It's funny. It's fun and funny.
Yeah.
Thanks. Nice to meet you both. That's a good way to end.
I'm going there. to see my father. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm going there to see my Savior, to sing his praise forevermore. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.
Thank you for listening to Tea Time Theology, a ministry of St. John's Cathedral in Rhode Island. We would like to thank our producers, Ivy Swinsky and Taylor Wilkie. Special thanks to Mario Akande and David Hines for this season's music. Additionally, we would like to thank our sponsor, the Episcopal Diocese of Rhode Island, and the Right Reverend Nicholas Knisley, as well as our guests today. Follow us at Tea Time Theology on all social medias.